think you're right, actually. It is too early, to tell you the truth, for most investors. And that's not, it doesn't mean we shouldn't be doing it. I think if you say, what is the average venture firm, what do they do these days? It's they invest in companies that are much far along the risk spectrum. So for the average venture firm, it is too risky. It's too early stage. Certainly for the average investor in public stocks, it's way too early to think about public investing. So there aren't as many early stage venture capitalists as there used to be in terms of firms. A lot of the successful ones have migrated to different stages of investment. And so those that still do this are of different opinions. Those individual partners or firms that do early stage investing are interested, and there's a number of them, increasingly so. And we're also kind of different. We like to be early on any new wave. So like in 93, 94, we were actively investing in internet companies. By 95, it was 80% of everything we were doing. By 98 and 99, we were tapering down in terms of new investments in the internet. We had made money on the internet before Netscape, before any of that stuff, right? So we were always a little early. And these are smaller companies you may not have heard of, but the first e-commerce company, all this kind of stuff. So we always try to catch that wave early for a variety of economic reasons. It's good, and it's also more fun. By the time 99 floated around, and I got 3 business plans to just sell pantyhose on the web. I mean, how repugnant and boring is that, right? I mean, that's when you knew there was no innovation left in that concept of the e-retailer. Like, let's slice the economy to every micro niche. JustBalls.com got venture funding. All they sell is balls, right? The brand says it, just balls. No bats, no gloves, just balls. Anyway, I don't know why I digress, but I think it was partially in that boredom that said, this is just stagnating. B2B, B2C, it's all the same, right? This is just stamp and repeat. That I went to a conference, actually. A friend of mine, an entrepreneur in our portfolio, thought it would be interesting. Sure enough, it was. It was a nanotech conference, scientists talking about the wild future. And it just felt more tangible. I can't say what it was that clicked. It wasn't a business plan or an entrepreneur. It was just like, it's sort of an update to the stuff I'd read, again, from like 15 years prior, that said a lot of progress had been made. And it caused me to want to look into that more. And I think that and the decoding of the human genome, at least for me, was inspirational to just read about this. And I see all the things that Larry Ellison, Bill Gates, Nathan Myhrvold, Charles Simonyi, just about everyone who had risen to the top of their field in software was putting all of their personal interest and foundations money and research on the science side into biology. And it was very intriguing. And the more I studied, the more, and I talked to these people, some of them, not all of them, they're not easy to reach. There's a certain fascination with what was going on there. So I think that's cross-pollination of biology and nanotech. I also thought nanotech is sort of this mechanistic future vision of little robots that one day may come. And then when I realized what's going on in biology and the fact that this might happen much sooner with this biological bootstrap, that was the aha. It caused me to want to do more research. And the thing that scared me into doing research was I had a column I wrote for the Red Herring at the time. And there's nothing like a publishing deadline to really instill fear in you to get your thoughts together. And so I wrote this initial column on the convergence of IT, nanotech, and biotech. And it was fascinating to do that. And it got me into the labs, got me into research centers, went around. And then I raised the flag internally at our partnership across all these affiliate networks, just saying, any nanotech business plan you see, send it to me, no matter how dumb or crazy you think it is. I just want to know what's out there. And we got a bunch, and they were all powders, nano aluminum powder in particular, 30 of those, a bunch of tools companies. And then it started to get more rich over time, but we could educate ourselves through those meetings and reading everything we could, and then forcing ourselves to write something that's try to synthesize the ideas. So conferences, tours to academic. I took a class, I came back to school, actually. I took KJ Cho's class, his first one that he just offered about a year or two ago, computational nanotech. Got to ride the little Razor scooter on campus again. That was fun. Sort of went back to school literally to learn about that. And the more I learned, the more it seemed to intuitively be the case that this is the next great change and next great wave. And that's, I think, a message that's increasingly becoming resounding. I mean, the government funding for the sector is going up immensely, $3 billion internationally next year, and most of it not in the U.S. The number of companies we're seeing is growing dramatically, and so there's a lot of activity.